Right guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video what I'm going to show you how to do is adjust the reach and free stroke on your Shimano Ultegra R8020 or R8070 Di2 levers, so I'll go ahead and we'll get on with it. Right, so here we have the lever in question. This just happens to be for the rear derailleur, but it doesn't make any difference. So you got the lever like so. If you turn it over, just make sure, I'll show you it now while it's easier, while the actual lever is off the bike. So you see down in there, just down in there, there's a 2mm hex head in there. So if you locate that, obviously this is off the bike, so if you turn it, anti-clockwise, then it's shortening the, see it move there, anti-clockwise there, you're shortening the distance, and obviously clockwise is putting it back to how it was. So anti-clockwise on the hex head shortens the distance. So in other words, if you've got smaller hands, you want to be able to reach it, that'll shorten the distance for you. Right, so obviously here we have the Shimano Ultegra lever. Now the Shimano system differs from a lot of other manufacturers because the lever actually moves when you're making the free stroke adjustment, as in the lever moves itself, whereas a lot of other manufacturers levers, they stay static when you're making the free stroke adjustment, but the Shimano, the lever moves because it's basically a two-stage adjustment process. So it's not just a case of turning just the free stroke screw. To do the free stroke, you have to do both the free stroke screw and the hex head for the reach itself. Right, so the free stroke adjustment controls how far the lever piston, obviously in here, must travel before it closes off the port between the reservoir and the cylinder, and then obviously it starts pressurising. It's a point where it starts pressurising the brake line, so obviously the port in there, just moving the piston, so it's controlling how much. It doesn't order the brake down the bottom in the caliper, it's ordering inside the fluid control inside the lever itself. That's what it's ordering. So to the point, just ordering the point at where the point where it starts to pressurise the brake line. You're just ordering that basically by ordering the free stroke. But obviously, like I said, it's a two-stage adjustment process. So you can start obviously by pulling back the hood. You can either pull it that way, but then you're folding it so it interferes a bit with the reach adjustment, which I showed earlier. It's up in there. So the free stroke adjustment, you can pull back the hood like so, and on the outside there, there's a 2mm hex head just there, like so. Now, normally when they come and they haven't been adjusted, the screw's wound all the way in, as in clockwise. You can't move it for any further clockwise, so you can move it anti-clockwise. It's hard to see, but the lever's actually moving out that way, so it's moving further away from the drop. So we're turning that, it's moving that way, and you've got a job to see it. It's moving just a very small amount. So it's moved away further. So say you want to adjust that back in again, obviously you've just moved it further away by adjusting that, the free stroke. So you want to move it further back in, then obviously, like I showed earlier, you've got to go underneath here and then find the 2mm hex head in there. And if you screw that, anti-clockwise, then it brings the lever back in. So it's just bringing, as you can see there, it brings the lever back. So you can get it to somewhere where you had it before you adjusted the free stroke, so it's in the right place again. And all the free stroke is doing, so it's a two-stage adjustment. So you can order, so if you just turn, if you wind that back in again, obviously it's winding it closer to the handlebar again, because when I wound it out, it moved it further away. So then I moved the reach, adjusted the reach to move the lever closer in. But then if you're not happy with that, and you're winding it back in again, it's moving it even closer to the bar. So you end up with the lever closer. So if you haven't adjusted that, all you've done is adjusted the reach of the lever. And all the free stroke is the bit of play, obviously, before the fluid starts to be moved inside the system. So at the minute, say you can spin the wheel there, and it's still spinning now, even though I've just moved it that far. It's not doing anything, as you can see. So that bit of play there, that isn't having any effect on braking whatsoever. So that's why you can adjust the free stroke and the reach to eliminate that. So I'll spin it, it's not doing anything. There's just that bit of play there that's not, some people like that bit of play there. So if you're resting your hand on the lever and you've got it, you're going into the wind and that, and you're resting your hand there and your hand's on the drop and you're accidentally touching it, then that little bit of movement, you know that it's not going to put your brake on. Obviously you could just be holding it without knowing. When you're riding really hard, you could just be pulling slightly on the lever as you're going, as you're giving it everything you got, and you could be pulling on the lever slightly, but you know at least that it's not actually pulling the brake on. Whereas if you adjust the free stroke a lot, then you remove that free play in it, obviously free stroke. So therefore if you're removing it, obviously if you pull it on like that, the brake is on, the brake's binding on, then it's off. But obviously that bit there isn't doing anything. You just spin the wheel, as you can hear from the Frio, it's not doing anything. So that's what you're adjusting. Like I say, on the Shimano, it's a two-stage process. Say if, for instance, I just unwind the free stroke completely, wind it right out like that, then like I said earlier, I'll do the same thing with the wheel. So like I said, he's still spinning now. There's no braking effort at all there. So effectively there's that much now. The brakes are just on now. So by winding it out, just the free stroke, winding it out, you've effectively increased. You've just increased it, because now there's even more. So you can't just wind that. You can't just wind the free stroke and expect it to do anything drastic. You're not going to notice it. You think there's more play in it than you had before. So they come, like I said, they screwed right in. When you get them, they're screwed in like that, as far as they go. So you can adjust it, but it's a two-stage thing. You can't just adjust that and expect it to do anything. People just wind that and go, well, it's not doing anything. You've got to adjust the actual reach as well, because when you're altering that, you're altering the reach. It actually alters the lever. It's not altering the caliper, it's just the lever. And that's the thing that people get confused with on it. So once you've made your adjustments, obviously they're both 2mm hex heads, and this applies, this is a R8020, but it could be an R8070, a Di2 lever. This is a mechanical R8020. They're adjustable on Dura-Race as well, but they're not adjustable on the R7000 levers. You can adjust the reach, i.e. the point between there and there for your hand, but you can't adjust the free stroke on the R7000 series ones, the hydraulic brakes. So that's a quick guide to where the screws are anyway. They differ from obviously lever to lever. This just happens to be Ultegra, like I said. So once you made your adjustments, you can just pop the hood back on, and it's a case of playing around with it until you get it how you want it. There's no giving raw on anything. It's just how your hand is. You know, some people got small hands, larger hands. It's just how you want the feel of the brake. Some people like it, like I said, with a bit of free play. Some people want to adjust that out so there's less, but it just depends. Right, so there's some of the steps on it complete for you. I'll say it's personal preference on the adjustment. You give it a go yourself, see how you get on with it. Like I say, it's a two-stage process really to do it properly. Now, and the other thing is, the best way to do it is obviously, it's hard to tell when you've got a bike on the stand and you're just making some adjustments, how it will actually feel when you're riding the bike on the road. So the best thing to do is probably go out riding round, just take a 2mm Allen key hex head with you and just make some adjustments to it and just see how it feels on the actual road itself. Now you might end up adjusting it and adjusting it back to how it, you know, to the standard setting again. If you think that it's not doing any, you know, if you don't notice much difference at all, I'll say it's personal preference. Some people prefer to adjust it, some prefer just to leave it as it is. But I say again, it's all down to you. So if you found the video helpful in any way, give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Till the next video, ride safe and I'll see you then.